Hello and welcome to our third unit of this course. You will be starting this unit at home on your own while the other half of the class is with me this week doing the review and then their test. So I know it's not ideal to start a unit at home on your own, but I think we've given up an ideal about a year ago. So it's the best we can do, and that's kind of the theme of this COVID pandemic. Let's do the best we can. So unit 3 is called Dynamics of Ecosystems, basically our biology unit. I don't think there's anything too new here. You've probably covered a lot of these things in the past. I'm not going to read through the whole sheet, but I did post the outcome sheet, so it's always good to read through that first to see what this unit is about, what we're doing, and why. So I'm going to skip through the overview, but the first thing is about biogeochemical cycles. So it says illustrate and explain how nitrogen, carbon, and oxygen are cycled through an ecosystem. Last year we did an assignment with it. This year I'm just going to post what those cycles are as reference. So you don't have to memorize and label them this year, but I will post a copy. It's not online yet, but it will be soon for your class when you need it, just to have that as reference. And then number 2, discuss factors that may disturb biogeochemical cycles. So you're going to do some reading, especially this week at home by yourself. You're doing some reading in the textbook. The textbook does a really good job on this. You're going to read through the biogeochemical cycles and just answer some questions about what are some things that can affect it. Then we're going to learn about something called bioaccumulation and how it affects the consumers. You should know those terms, producers, consumers, back from some time previously in your science background. And then number 4, we're going to learn about something called carrying capacity of an ecosystem. Number 5, we'll talk about things, limiting factors, density dependent, density independent factors. Then we're going to look at some population growth curves. We're going to graph them. I've changed the assignment. If you look in your lab book at lab 11, there's a data chart. You're supposed to graph it. Instead of that, the whole world of COVID is based on population dynamics and population growth curves. So I've made an assignment where we're going to analyze it. Every decision being made right now about when we go to school, when we go to remote, when we shut things down are based on population dynamic growth curves. So I've changed the assignment this year. Hopefully next year we don't have to do this assignment anymore because hopefully the world is back to normal, but we'll see. So that's what I've changed it to make it current. And again, I've made the assignment as current as I can, but the information changes daily for COVID. Then we're going to end the unit talking about introducing new species and extinct species and how that affects ecosystems. And then we'll talk about biodiversity. We're going to talk about it a bit at the end. And then I'm going to leave that biodiversity to the very last week of this course. I've got a video I want to show us. We'll talk about it in class, and I've got some PowerPoint. So that's the unit, a very short, simple unit on ecology. Now you're just going to go to the PowerPoint. So again, like I said, you're starting this at home by yourself. So unit 3 is dynamics of ecosystems. So an introduction to our biology unit. So what is ecology? Literally, eco means home, OGY means to study. So anything that ends in OGY is the study of. So ecology is the study of home. Whose home? Well, our home, right? Where we live on planet Earth. We just had Earth Day last week. So ecology literally means the study of interactions between organisms and their environment. But we need to define the word environment. What do we mean by the environment? We hear the word environment all the time, save the environment, but do we actually know what that means? Well, the environment is anything external to the animal that affects it. So that could be biotic, living things, or abiotic, non-living things. So when we get to lab 9, we're going to, hopefully if the weather's nice, go outside and do our lab outside, and you're going to observe and make a list of biotic and abiotic factors we see when we go for a little field trip outside. Hopefully weather dependent on that. Okay, population, community. Again, these are all words we use all the time, but do we know what it means in terms of ecology? I know it's a little bit off the scale or the screen, but you've got a copy of this online. So population. When we talk about population in terms of ecology, we mean a group of organisms of the same species living together in the same area, same time. That's what we mean as a population. Then a community would be all the different populations within a certain area. So you've got your individual species, and then if you have the same species living together in the same area, same time, that makes a population. And then a community is just made up of all the different populations in the area, and then the different communities give us our ecosystem. So that's how all these terms connect for this unit. And then an ecosystem is an interaction of the community with its physical environment. So the biotic and abiotic factors working together and how they interact. As you notice, you've done a lot of work about climate change and the environment. We are all interconnected. When you remove one species or one species affected, that affects the whole community. So we are interconnected. So that's why it's like when we say save the planet, we've got to save the life on the planet because our actions affect everything around us. Okay, and then Lab 9, like I said, we're going to do Lab 9 together the day that you're here with me, hopefully on a nice warm day that we can go outside and actually look at abiotic biotic factors. Now, here's the lesson that you're doing at home on your own while we are getting ready for our physics test. Biogeochemical cycles. Like I said, I'm going to post a copy of the nitrogen, carbon, oxygen cycles for reference on our Teams page. You will not have to memorize it or label them for the test or exam this year, but I'll post them as reference. So then today's lesson, I'm assuming you know what a biogeochemical cycle is. So unlike solar energy, which continually hits the earth, so we're going to talk again about, like I said, I know some of these diagrams are off the view, but you've got the copy at home. When we talk about our weather units, we've got the sun continually giving us the solar energy, and we'll talk about what that solar energy does. So that one continually hits the earth, but unlike that, the chemical elements are available in limited amounts. So things like carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen, water, oxygen, there's limited amounts. So we have to recycle them, or our environment recycles them. If it didn't recycle them, we would have run out of carbon, nitrogen, these elements a long time ago. So again, it's amazing how the earth just has this wonderful natural cycle that works as long as we don't disturb it. And that's kind of the theme. This is what happens, and it's beautifully balanced, but humans are interacting, or we're affecting that balance. That is so perfectly set. So the cycling of nutrients, we talk about nutrients, that would be things like water, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. The cycling of nutrients through the biotic and abiotic, we just learned those terms in the last slide. When they cycle throughout the factors of an ecosystem, that's called a biogeochemical cycle. Bio, living. Geo refers to the earth. Chemical, we did a chemistry unit. Cycle, very literal what it means. Biogeochemical cycles, how these elements cycle through the living and abiotic, living and non-living factors of an ecosystem. Okay, so what are some factors that affect those? Like I said, the world, it naturally recycles, and it's perfectly balanced to make sure there's enough of those elements available to all the life on Earth that needs it. So it was perfectly balanced, but unfortunately there's natural and human factors that affect it. So I know humans are taking a lot of the blame. We don't cause all the problems. There are some natural factors that affect this biogeochemical cycles, but human factors involve that as well. There are some videos to show. I think we'll find some class time to show you that about in class. I'll show those with you. And then the rest of it is from your textbook assignment. So you will have to do some reading. You have to read pages 30 to 33 in your textbook. I just gave you a brief overview what this unit is about and about biogeochemical cycles. There's some textbook questions. Like I said, all the information you need is found in your textbook. And our funny little jokes. If plastic is derived from fossil fuels and fossil fuels came from dinosaurs, does that mean plastic dinosaurs are made from real dinosaurs? Ha ha ha. And this goes back to the biogeochemical cycles. I think it's so cute. Look at, there's a mom cloud and a dad cloud, and there's a baby cloud, and the baby cloud says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Mom, I couldn't hold it any longer." Oh, come on, that is funny. Okay, so like I said, I know you're starting this unit home on your own, but that just gives me time to work in class with the other group to give you a review class and your test. And then next week we'll be back together on the same topics, and we're gonna go on forward with our ecology unit. Okay, good luck and have fun with this unit.